saw him because all Jochebed had in her hand was some straws, but she wove it into a basket to sell to Moses while he was floating down the Nile River. So the question is, what's in your hand? All Miriam had was a tambourine in her hand, and she used it to use and lead the people to celebrate God and his faithfulness. All Hannah had in her hand was a son, and yes, but she gave him over to the hands of the Lord. All Ruth had in her hand was a stalk of grain, but God used it to supply and sustain her family, and he put her in the lineage of Jesus. What is in your hand? Come here, little boy. One day while Jesus was preaching to a great multitude, and somebody said, send them away, I heard the disciples saying, there is a lad here, all he got is 2 fish and 5 barley loaves. But Jesus took what he had in his hand and was able to feed the 5,000. All the widow woman had was enough oil in the cruel and enough cornmeal in the barrel for one more meal. But God used it to feed her family. I ask you the question, what do you have in your hand? Do I have some help in here? Oh, my brothers and sisters, yes, the principle remains the same. That all you got to do is take our limited abilities and take our limited resources and put them in the hands of the Lord. And I'm here to tell you that God can do great things. Do I have a witness here? God can use what you have. All my brothers and sisters, when Moses answered the question about what do you have in your hand, Moses said it's just a staff. But look at here, God took that staff and never again was it referred to as a staff in the Bible. But from that moment on it was referred to as the rod of God. Come on, help me close somebody. I think I ought to tell you, my brothers and sisters, God took that old stick in Moses' hand and he used it to part the Red Sea. He used it to turn the Nile River into blood. He used it to perform miracles in front of Pharaoh. He used it to make water come out of a rock. All I'm saying is it was only a little old stick. There was nothing magical about the stick. But when Moses surrendered it to God, that stick became the rod of God. Do I have a witness here? Oh, I got to close here. But just let me tell you that God called Moses to do a mighty work because God saw in him what man could not see. God saw somebody who would be faithful to his will. God saw somebody that would not be backing down. God saw somebody who would be one of the great leaders of our history. Aren't you glad that God sees what man cannot see? Did you hear me? When man looks at you, they might say you ain't gonna be nothing. They might say you won't amount to nothing. Did you hear me? Shake somebody's hand and tell them, neighbor, I'm glad that God sees what you don't see. God sees the best in me. Oh, bless his name. Is there anybody here that's glad saw the best in you. Somebody might look at your faults, but Jesus looked at your faith. Ain't God all right? Somebody might look at your weaknesses, but God looked at your strength. Oh, bless his name. So I'm here to tell you, whatever you have in your hand, make it available to be used by the Lord. You may not be a beautiful singer. You may not be a great speaker. You may not have any special abilities. But whatever you have, give it over to Jesus. Ain't God all right? God is looking for somebody that's willing to surrender to him. God is looking for somebody to lay down their life at his feet and tell the Lord, make me and mold me into what you want me to be. Ain't God all right? Yes, sir. I'm here to tell you, give him what you have. Give the Lord whatever's in your hand. Yes, sir. And he will show them through the rest. Is there anybody here know that God can take an ordinary person and do extraordinary things? Yes, sir. Is there anybody here that can testify with me and tell somebody the Lord has done more in my life than I ever could have imagined? Yes, sir. The only reason that he was able to do it because I gave him what was in my hand. Yes, sir. I gave him what was in my hand. I told the Lord I may not be much, but here I am. Use me for your glory. May not know much, but use me for your glory. May not have the best education, but use me for your glory. Ain't God all right? Is there anybody? Is there anybody that know he can show you what helped me? Help somebody. Give your neighbor high five and tell a neighbor, if God can use me, he can use anybody. Come on, y'all ain't talking. Tell somebody, neighbor, if God can use me, he can use anybody. Yes, sir. Because all I am is a nobody trying to tell everybody about somebody who can save anybody. Yes, sir. If anybody here want to be used by the Lord, whatever's in your hand, I dare you to give it to him. I dare you to turn over to Jesus. And won't he use? Yes, sir. Every now and then I tell the Lord, here I am. Here I am. Here I stand. My life is in your hands. I'm longing to see your desires revealed in me. I give myself away. Take my heart. the Lord. I belong to